What's up, guys? In today's episode, we're going to be going over how to find the owner of a vacant property. We're going to talk about why this is important, how you do this, and how you kind of figure out ways around your counties and your cities' data to figure out how to most accurately and quickly get this information. As I mentioned in today's video, we're going to be going over how to find the owner of a home, whether that's a bank, whether that's an LLC, or whether that is a single individual who owns the property. We're going to go over how to access this information, how to find out who owns it, how to contact them, and how to look up their contact information. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Tyler Dalton. I'm a real estate investor here in Baltimore, Maryland. I primarily focus on fix and flips and buy and holds using the BRRRR method. And these are some tools and tricks that I use in my own search to find property owners and to see if I can find off-market properties. As I mentioned, these tools are used to find off-market properties. And the benefit of looking for and finding off-market properties is typically that's where you find the best deals and the sweetest deals. You may have heard that you can buy properties direct from homeowners or buy properties from wholesalers, and this is one of the methods that wholesalers use to find off-market properties. They actually use a lot of different methods, what's known as data mining. They also do a number of tools such as hiring out virtual assistants or using companies such as ListSource to find that data. But back to the basics, we're just going to talk about how to find this information from a very granular level, and we're going to talk about how to use this tools in everyday life. So this information applies to people who are looking to just get started in real estate, people who are even involved in real estate, or people who just want to know who their neighbors are, know. So this information is really good for folks who are looking to get started in real estate, or folks who are looking to try to expand their real estate or try to find off-market properties. So we're going to be going through a video looking at the information here in Baltimore, and there's some other tools that you can use if you're not in Baltimore, if you're all across the country. These are tools that are free, easy to use, easy to access, but the basics that we're going to look at today, they're applicable to pretty much every single county across the United States. So I just want to give you guys a brief overview of these tools and tricks that I use. Nothing crazy, nothing outstanding, nothing you probably haven't seen before on the internet, but for those of you who follow me or follow my channel or follow my social, I just want to provide some value for you guys and kind of give you some inside tools as to what I specifically use. So before we get any further, let's just dive right in and see what we look at. So for today's example, we're going to be looking at a property that is bank owned. I want to go over this property specifically because I don't want to share anyone's personal information, and I don't want to give out anything that's going to compromise the owner or previous owner of this property, but I just want to give you a very specific example of how to access this information. And again, these tools can be used for anyone who is involved just looking to get started, someone looking to wholesale, someone looking to buy their first rental or for their first flip. This information is pretty much useful across the board, and anyone who has been told you can go driving for dollars, well, this is exactly how you can do that and exactly how you can find that information, contact that homeowner, and get the ball rolling that way. So without further ado, let's say you're driving down the road, you find a property, and you say, hey, this is something that looks vacant, it's something that looks terrible, something I want to look into. So what's the first thing you do? Probably look at Google, or Zillow, Redfin, you name it, type in the information, and you find that property. So what we're going to do here today, we're going to look at that information. So now looking at this information, we're going to plug in the property address. This is one that I'm familiar with, that I know this property, I know this area. Let's say I found it driving for dollars. Look up, and it actually happens to be for sale. And again, for this specific reason, I'm going to use this property because I know it's bank owned and I don't want to put anyone's personal information out on there on the web, even though this is public data, this is public information. There's nothing wrong or nothing illegal with this at all. So for Baltimore, we can use this what's called SDAT, or I call it SDAT. It's just public data. So all you do is go and you plug in your city or your specific county, plug in the address, 646. And they can be a little finicky as to how you put them in. Sometimes they don't like the address, they don't like the street, north, south, east, west, avenue, etc. So it makes it a little bit difficult. Just play around with it until you figure it out. So simple as that. Plug in the address of the distressed property, or property where you see the weeds are growing up, property that looks damaged, windows are broken, you name it, looks rough. So you look it up. The owner is going to be listed right here. Their current mailing address is right there. And then you can look and see at the previous transfer records. You can see the previous history. You can see, get some more basics about the property. You can tell how many stories it is, when it was built, all this public data. Most of it's not relevant to you. However, the really important stuff to notice primarily is who currently owns it, what their current address is, and then if you want to know the beds, bath count, square footage, that can help with renovation cost, but it's not necessarily that important for this specific video. So what you would do is you would find this information. This would say the owner of this property. This would be their address. And you can go to one of my favorite websites. This is one of my favorite tools out there, and not many people have talked about this. I haven't seen many other YouTubers talk about this, simply because I think there's a lot of options to search up addresses, search people's names, that information. But I'll say that Brian Dossie was the one that put me onto this, and this has been a very helpful tool in my tool belt that I've used to locate a number of different sellers, a number of homeowners, and it's just the best way that I've found to look up people. So you can search by their name, by their city and state, look at their address, look by phone number. It's pretty cool, pretty helpful, and again, it's free, so that's very, very nice. So you can search Baltimore, you can search the address, boom, pop it up, and it gives you a lot of information. Some of it's not necessarily relevant, so you might want to cross-reference that with these options right here. So I'm just going to kind of scroll past, but you can look it up, look at the person's name, and see their current address, phone numbers. You can look all that information up, and yeah, that's pretty much the best way to find these people's information. And then you don't even have to skip trace them. You just have their phone numbers. You can call them. I would recommend that anytime you call or text, email, mail someone, make sure you respect their privacy, and make sure you also are scrubbing their information through a litigator. So you want to make sure they're not on the national do not call list. You can jeopardize yourselves for a number of different lawsuits or penalties if you do that. So just make sure to take the appropriate legal action before contacting someone, spamming someone, and respect their property. So that's all I've got for today. I just wanted to go through briefly my process for locating homeowners, specifically for properties that look distressed or that need some love. And these are the type of properties that I am locating when looking for my next fix and flip project or for my next buy and hold rental. Again, looking for distressed properties with homeowners who have not taken care of the property that are willing to take an offer for an off-market property. So these are the methods I use. If you use them, please let me know. If you find them helpful, if you find something that's better than what I put out there, please let me know as well. Always looking to help share the best information that's available, and particularly the information that's free for those who are looking to just get started. So that's all I have for today. Hope you'll have a wonderful day. See you next time.